Hi, my name is Vivian from the class of 2021. And this summer I had the privilege of conducting a research project looking at the feasibility and acceptability of non-contact opioid monitoring devices for people who use drugs in Vancouver's downtown east side. So I've been working with individuals in this community for a number of years now through an organization that I started a while ago with the goal to empower population groups and give opportunities to learn from people whose voices are not commonly heard in our society. So through conversations, I noted that a lot of smartphone apps and new technology and new devices was being introduced in light of the opioid crisis, which is a great thing. However, there has been minimal opportunities for community members to give input on whether they will have the means to use these devices or even if they would like to use them at all, which really then became the main motivation for this study. And to start off, I had to get ethics. So the ethics process was a little tricky. Although the ethics form through UBC RISE was relatively simple, our initial plan was to involve identifying and recruiting participants from various shelters in the Vancouver downtown core. However, after waiting a few months with various follow-up emails and phone calls and even in-person visits for the ethics approvals to come through, I decided instead to approach some friends who were members of the downtown east side community to act as local recruiters and spread word about the project. So it was really thanks to them that I was able to recruit a representative sample of participants who would arrive in 30-minute intervals on predetermined study dates to participate, which really made it really efficient for me. To make it accessible for participants to enroll in the study, I actually borrowed space in a teepee in the downtown east side street market, which is on the corner of East Hastings and Columbia. And all the consent information sheets were given ahead of time and then also reiterated orally when the participants came in for their interviews. So after they acknowledged that they were informed, I would then ask them to sign the receipt for the $10 honorarium and provide them with the cash up front, kind of even before the interviews began. Which gave them the opportunity and the option of stopping their interview at any point or withdrawing without the fear that they wouldn't receive this $10. And although no one actually withdrew or left prematurely, this really helped me also build rapport and trust before the interview began. Keeping in mind that a lot of individuals in the downtown east side are not really comfortable with recording or sometimes have hesitations toward monitoring or any of those words, I would explain to them that although doing an audio recording is necessary for the interview, that this file would only be heard by myself as well as a third-party transcriber, and that all kind of identifying information about them would be removed. And I find that when explaining some of these more serious topics, my personal experience is that humor really goes a long way. So I would usually follow this up by telling them that this is their chance to share their thoughts on the topic and feel free to let your frustrations out. And this is really going to help us in terms of the research side and also give them an opportunity to share. So I think that this is really empowering for a lot of participants, having that freedom to share and realizing that I wanted to hear their story. So needless to say, I had some incredibly genuine conversations about the realities of drug use as well as personal anecdotes about stigma and oppression faced by the community. And with the data collected, we had the recordings transcribed, which was then coded by the team using thematic analysis. And I'm currently looking at organizing my findings using a program called NVivo, which is, I believe, free for all UBC students. And then I'll be taking back the preliminary findings back to the downtown east side for verification, because it's really important to have the original contributors of the data confirm that these were in fact their priorities. And I'm also really thankful that some of the participants actually volunteered to continue helping with the project. Because they do find that they derive a lot of meaning from contributing to the development of interventions that will go on to help their own peers in their own communities. And so I guess my closing thoughts is really as future physicians, we really have such privilege not only to conduct meaningful and purposeful research, but to be able to also hear stories and empower individuals along the way. So I would really encourage you all to take part and consider doing a qualitative research project, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all.